Outside the Circle, Season 7, Episode 2.1. Sean, it is go time. We are back. This is 2 weeks in a row. We took, I don't know, maybe 32 weeks off, and now here we are 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, 32?
I just went 8 times 4.
Okay.
Yeah, 32.
Okay.
Yep,
Awesome.
yep. But Sean, we're back, and if you'll notice, we got some new duds, baby. Yes, we were going to get into the Big Walnut Tournament. Real quick, they used to have a spring wrestling club called Rage, W-R-A-G-E.
Okay.
What's it stand for?
I don't know.
Okay, no problem. The school has Rage, and it's Red and Golden Eagles. But they were the wrestling Red and Golden Eagles. I love that. Ooh. That's legit. Okay. Shout out to everybody in the whole community for doing that.
Shouldn't that be Wage then?
No, wrestling Red and Gold. This guy, oh my gosh. Sean, we had way too much wrestling to go over. We thought we had a lot last week, which we did, by the way. But this week we've got quite a bit as well.
We do got quite a bit.
Yes.
Still.
We are here to recognize and celebrate. I failed to mention this last week.
I know.
The accomplishments of the hardest working student athletes this side of the North Pole. And Sean, we're talking Big Walnut, as we mentioned, Worthington Kilbourne, Sparta Highland, Whitehall Yearling, Walsh Ironman, Logan, and London.
Wow.
Not to mention the dual meets that all went down.
That 7?
I can't count
That's
that
a
fast.
lot of wrestling.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of wrestling. This season is in full swing.
It's
number one.
going.
Yes, it is, and I think next week it's just going to really take off from there. You better strap in, young man.
Oh, it's go time.
Yep, it is go time. Sean, let's talk dual meets. Chronological order. There was a dual meet, 2x4.
Couple 2x4s.
Yes, around the area. And then we went to, and which I think are online now, the results are.
Well, we could go back to the JV match, too.
Oh, my God. I don't know if I can, Sean. Holy smokes. Let's just start off.
Wednesday,
yes,
Thursday, Friday, and Saturday wrestling.
Gosh.
And today, we got college wrestling. Bucks at 4 o'clock.
And as you can hear in our voice, we were screaming all weekend long. It's good. Let's, Sean, I do want to touch on the Delaware Tri. Delaware Tri. Delaware had obviously Mount Vernon, and they invited Watkins Memorial there as well. Right. We were there. Coach Cornell, Mount Vernon coach, we were happy to see him there. Okay. Good stuff. Coach Kurth running Watkins. But the coaches Lamb and Riemann made sure.
Mark or Kevin?
I don't know. It's Kevin. They made sure that we were sitting mat side. They were in a pit. I'm here to tell you that atmosphere was dynamic. Great atmosphere for some wrestling.
This tight atmosphere.
Oh, it was fantastic. And we had one weight class that stood above the rest. It was 170 pounds, in which Cole Ford, Mason Sutander. Yes. Sorry, I messed that up earlier too. And then Max Van Fossen all wrestled each other. As you something you mentioned. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Something that you mentioned that it didn't click with me until much later. You had the chance to bump or move or dodge. Yeah, but
we didn't say, "Oh, my kid was hurt; he can't wrestle."
Yes.
We didn't say, "It's better for us if he goes 82 this week."
Yes. No.
We wrestle.
That's right,
Mark. That is what happens when you have 3 coaches that actually get it.
Shout out to you guys. There's this line on the mat. You put your toe on it and you go to war. And you know what's interesting? Cole Ford threw up like crazy after the first match. Coach straight up looked at him and said, "Hey, man, if you're sick," "No, I'm going out and I'm wrestling." I read his lips. "I want to do this. I want to do this." I'm like, dude, this is fantastic. Awesome. I love it. Van Fossen, enough about the pageantry of it all. Van Fossen walks away 2-0. Sutander walks away 1-1 with 4 going 0-2 on the day I mentioned.
All crazy matches, all winnable either way.
Oh, yes, most certainly. Interchangeable, and it was great atmosphere. The fans behind the cage, they're just going crazy. That was great. So that was our Delaware. That was a Thursday night, right? Was that Thursday night?
Yes.
No, that was Friday night.
Did we mention they went 2-0?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Sure did. Delaware goes 2-0 on that. Okay. That was Friday night. We get home at, midnight, roughly. Wake up and do it all.
I'm a little closer to everything.
Yeah, that's true. We woke up and we do it all over again, and it was fantastic. But, Sean, before we even get to Big Walnut or even Ironman or, Whitehall Yearling, let's talk Logan. Coaches tried to get out of it. They couldn't. We roped them back in. It's all good. They're back. We love it. They run a good tournament. They get anywhere from 10 to 15 teams down there. This year's field, led by Fairfield Union, walks away with 4 champs. With 200.
That's a pretty good D2 school.
No.
Guys. Yeah,
they're the real deal. Fairfield Union walks away with champs. They're able to upend Groveport Madison by roughly about 25, 26 points. Followed by Staple D3.
Okay.
Nelsonville York.
Yes.
Always good, always tough. The Four champs for Fairfield Union. You had Lake at 120, 126 was Kohler. Watch out for him. Welsh at 152 pounds, and then 170 followed by King. The one champ for Groveport Madison, which is weird, they only had one champ, but they placed second, was Nelson, returning district place winner.
District place winner.
Yes. What did he get? Sixth?
Yeah, he got hurt. I think he defaulted out.
Urgh, that stinks. Well, there you go. Yinger, make no mistake. Nelsonville York placed at 113, and they also had 285 and 106, the bookends there for champs. A little special shout out to the Columbus Academy's Sugar at 138. Dun, 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 dun. Just kidding. That is your breakdown of the Logan Tournament Chieftains. We love you guys. Thanks for sending those shirts that time. That was awesome. Sean, next up. I think you know where we're going with this. The Harry Steele Classic in London. Sean, you know who Harry Steele is?
Yes,
or
I
was?
do. Yes, he was.
No, you don't.
He was a wrestler for London. Well, for one, I would because I have my own show on Sunday. But no, he was a wrestler for London back in like 30s or 40s, like Olympic medalist.
He was from London, and he was Olympic champ wrestler. Yes, 1932 or 1936 Olympics.
Really?
Yep. Sure enough,
Okay.
we got one right here in town, and they run a classic for him. They invite a number of teams. One of those teams was Canal Winchester, who ended up placing first, followed by London, the home school, who got second, followed by Pick North. Watch out.
Pick North.
Pick
Yeah,
North.
we talked about them last week.
Coming at you, fourth place rounded out by West High Cowboys. Go ahead, boys. Sean, anything specific that we want to mention about Canal Winchester's 273 points that we should
There's
mention?
a couple things we can talk about when we get on Canal Winchester.
Yes.
Me and Mark talked last year, the Rouse boys, man. These guys know what they're doing. They go to that Whitehall sectional. They say, hey, we don't care. We're going up to the tough district up there in Toledo area. But we see the future, and obviously
Yes.
it's paying off here as they've won the tournament with 273 points, as Mark said, besting homeschool London. But the crazy thing is they did it without any champs.
Without any champs?
Without any
What?
champs. I can't remember the last time a team won a tournament without one single champ. Like, that's pretty odd. So, but congratulations. It shows the depth of the team to me.
Certainly.
So,
if everybody gets second,
yeah,
that's
I mean, they
14
got a
kids.
lot of good
Yeah.
kids there, so obviously that paid off. But London, me and Mark talked about them last week when we did D2 team rankings.
Yes.
So look out for London, a team that could be on surprise. We talked about Davis. I think every guy we mentioned might have won that tournament. There,
Yes.
to be honest with you.
106
So,
pounds Fisher for
yeah.
London. There's one. The one that you were really high on, 132 pounds Davis.
God,
That's him.
good.
James followed
Right.
up at 138 and then 160 with Huff.
Huff.
Guys, that is a good team.
Right.
Now, so Canal Winchester has 0 champs.
Yes.
London has 4. Pickerington North walks away with 2 champs.
Ooh.
Not 1, 2 champs. That's awesome. They had a Clark at 152, and then 170 was Mahaffey.
Right.
Mahaffey.
Keep an eye on that guy once.
I'm down.
Unfortunately, he's at 70, where it's like a crate, but he's another guy. I mean,
What a weight class.
Well, I know I was going to get into that, but we'll talk about that later.
We will. That's fine. Sean, one other tournament that was going on around the area.
And West Jeff did get fourth there with 238 points.
Columbus West, yeah. They
Columbus
did.
West
Yep,
did?
yep.
Okay.
Columbus West
Okay.
did. I apologize. I might not have mentioned that. They weren't that far behind, though.
I don't think that was Columbus West. I think it was
Ooh.
West Jeff.
It might be. I might have written that down wrong. Interesting. Well, let's move on from any mistakes that we may or may not have made.
And we'll make in the future.
Yes, exactly.
Well,
Let's
the first
go.
one, maybe we're going to continue talking.
Let's talk about the Wolfpack duels. Sean, this
Okay.
has been going on for easily a decade. Easily
Oh,
a
I'd
decade.
say that, yes.
And Coach Martinez comes in. He wants to keep it going. Not only does he keep it going, he brings in a solid group of teams, and he's able to do what he wants to do, which
Right.
is... What did he do this past weekend, my man?
Did they win the tournament?
I don't know, Sean. You tell us.
Let's say they won the tournament. Yeah, actually, they did win the tournament. It was a crazy finish there. We
Yes.
had 3 teams going 3-1.
Yes.
We had Wolfpack, Kilbourne. We had St. Charles and Walnut Ridge. We talked about Walnut Ridge last week. I seen them at Burlington. Thought this would be a team that could possibly win it. It actually came down to criteria, and Kilbourne wins on criteria.
Yeah, over Walnut Ridge.
Walnut Ridge gets
Yes.
second on criteria, and then
Yes.
St. Charles gets third on criteria, although they all... Worthington Kilbourne beat St. Chuck by 1 point. 32-31. So that was the difference in not only winning that dual meet, but winning the championship. You know what I mean? You always talk about get that extra takedown.
Yes.
Major,
Yes.
Fight off your back not to give up the pin. I mean, it really does come into play here. So.
That's the old adage of 1 point could mean the match. 1 match could mean the duel. You know, all those
Right.
things build up, and we'll definitely get into that when we get into dual meet
Right,
season in
but
January.
DeSales
Yes.
and Mason were the other 2 teams
Yes.
that participated there, and they both went 1 and 3. So good day
Dang.
of wrestling all the way around. Get some kids some matches, some tough quality matches. So.
In dual meet format, and I love that, Sean.
Yes.
Sean, not only did have the London Harry Steele Classic, we had Logan. We also had the Wolfpack duels. Sean, We had the Kilted Classic. Dude, I was that close. Look, you're not looking. That's an eyelash, roughly. I was that close.
Just stopping.
Yes, on my way from Ironman down to Big One, and I was like, but I had to go.
I love that tournament.
I was running late. I need to get there one time.
You've never been there?
Never been. Adam looks at me sideways every time I say I've never been. He's all like, "You never been to my tournament, bro?" And I'm like,
Highland is
"Sorry,
that
man."
school that you can see off the freeway, but it takes you 40 minutes to get there. You know what I'm talking about? Like, there's no exit. There's just it's really crazy how that's set up there.
Oh, well, he invites his cousin, Chad, down from Medina. He's the head coach of Medina. Medina walks away with your champ at 306 points, followed by, not a depleted, but just missing a couple guys, Marysville squad at 286. So they lose by 20 there. And then followed by Olin Tangi of the Lewis Center Sword.
Who's depleted?
Yeah, that's true. 282 points. So they're right there with that. So that's a good group. Champs.
We had some local champs?
Yeah, we did have some local champs, and I'm excited about that. Brady Petel, who is a Colac Camp experiencer, he was there.
Okay.
He's won it at 145 pounds. But Sean, another guy, when we were at the Tri at Delaware Hayes, Sam Shalvey sits down next to us, Westerville South diehard. He mentioned how Aaron Morton's doing well.
Wrestling diehard.
Yeah, that's true too. Yes, that's true. That is true. Aaron Morton walks away champ at 160, and Sam couldn't say enough good things about him. So it was nice to see. And then Newark Catholic walks away with a 285-pound champ.
Wow.
And Kirkpatrick. So we love to see that too.
Newark Catholic, Kirkpatrick.
You see how that?
I do.
Yeah, fits magic.
Right.
So there's that. That's the Kilty Classic. Sean,
funny.
I mentioned how I almost stopped there. Adam, before we get all too far off, I want to make one quick point. I'm sure you're going to piggyback off this. Adam Gilmore, thank you for the exclusive insight into the results. I appreciate it. I noticed they weren't in the dispatch. Maybe you sent them. Maybe you didn't. But I will say this. I received them, and what you're doing is allowing us to put them on the website and promote your tournament and give results.
You know, that goes back to what we talked about last week when we were up at the Golden Bear Invitational with Matt Stout. Matt Stout contacted us and said, hey, you guys want to come to the tournament? Check it out. I'll leave your name up front. After the tournament, he emails us, hey, do you want the results of every single match wrestled this tournament? Well, heck yeah. So when you guys get on the website, as Mark talked about, you can find almost any results there.
Just about, yeah.
On our website. Don't thank us. Thank coaches like Matt Stout. Coach
Adam Gilmore,
Coach Reeder at Big One, another guy. See him like, hey man, what do you guys need? What do you got? We'll leave you up front. Come up into the hospitality room.
Yes.
Our brackets are online, so if anyone wants to know, tell them to go to Bomb's page. Here's a bracket you can follow it as you're here. Here's some shirts for you guys. Again, I love that Central Ohio is starting to embrace promoting the sport. I told Mark I was at Whitehall for the Whitehall duels. P's like anything you want. I talked to Coach Damaso of Grove City. Hey, here's our lineup. This is where all our kids are going to be. Watch out for this. Kids, watch our heavyweights undefeated. Our 120 is going to be going down 13. Keep an eye on this kid. I mean, we're starting to promote the sport within, and when that happens, I think the numbers and the level of wrestling in our community will start to get better. So, again,
we can only go up.
Don't thank us. Thank all these coaches that do work behind the scenes helping us do what we do, which is provide information for you. So thank you, everyone involved.
Certainly. And to go along with that, people not only within our district are giving shout-outs and whatnot. I went to Ironman yesterday, which is a great tournament. Love it. We had Olin Tangi Liberty, Marysville, Lancaster all represented up there.
That's the only 3 schools?
As far as I know, that I can remember.
Okay.
Yes. Which my memory's not that great, but if I missed someone, I apologize. But we had those 3 schools, so I was like, hey, when's the semifinals start? Let me get up there and watch some consolation matches, some semifinals, if the timing works. I knew I was going to Big One. Mm-hmm. They gave me the insider information, not insider information, they gave me the information of when the semifinals. I was like, dude, I'm gone. I'm going to wake up anyway at 6 a.m. because that's just what I do. I got on the road around 7:30, 7:45. I was there in time to watch Hurd wrestle, Painter wrestle, big 220, 285 for Liberty. Tong? Tong.
No, Tong's 220.
220, that's who I got to see. I got to see all these guys. And the whole point was, at the end of the day, I got to go in there. Zeb Miller pulls me aside, says, hey, you're running my camera. You're going to sit front and center for these semifinal matches. Thank you. Thank you. Got to talk to Corey Hey, Dad, who's running the tournament. Yeah. Great. Got to see your boy Josh Lowe. He said, hey, Sean, what's up?
Funny thing, Sam. He probably did.
He didn't.
I know
Anywho, all of that to say, thank you. It took us 7 seasons to get here that we are here for you. We want to work with you. And Iron Man, dude, we had 2 champs. Now, we just listed off a bunch of other champs.
Were they world champs?
Colton Schultz was. But
you said we had 2 champs.
Yeah, oh yeah. Connor Brady at 160 pounds and Carson Karchalava walk away your champs. We didn't have any other placers. Walker was a match away from placing, but we had no other placers. But the interesting thing about these 2 guys, not one point was surrendered. Like, they may have kicked somebody out, but they never surrendered a point.
Oh, just Connor did that?
No, Connor and Carson Cartalava.
Oh, I don't know. Are you sure?
Positive.
We're going to have to go through the almanac and check that out.
We will check that out. In the meantime, just know that these two did something spectacular. And
not letting anybody score in probably the toughest tournament in the country.
Yes, that's it.
I don't think spectacular is a big enough word for that accomplishment.
Well, I'll tell you what, Coach Roby was there for Virginia Tech, and I didn't see Tom Ryan, I didn't see Jay Jaggers, but I'm sure they were around. So they gotta love their new prospects coming in.
Our boy Goodale.
Goodale was in the house, man. Great to talk to him.
Great guy.
Awesome. Sean, that was the Ironman tournament. Where else do we go from there? Oh, Dan Gardner Duels.
We talked about the Dan Gardner Duels earlier. Me and Mark, I went to the Whitehall Dan Gardner Duels to start the season. It starts the day. Mark went up to Ironman, and we kind of met in the middle there at Big Walnut. But again, I went to the Dan Gardner Duels. Dan Gardner passed away a couple weeks ago. Fabulous guys, so they had the tournament still in his honor. Who wins the tournament? Pickerington Central wins it with 263 points.
Yes.
Grove City gets second with 256, and then Liberty Union gets third. Are they D2 or D3?
Liberty Union, I think this year is D2.
Okay, the Liberty Union D2 gets
which means they're probably D3.
with 184 points. But Pickerington Central did have multiple champs.
Yes, I'll tell you they were. Branson, 120 pounds. We saw him last year. We're seeing him again this year.
His learning curve is incredible.
Mangahas, another stud at 126, followed up by Waters at 132.
Oh, was that 3 in a row?
That's a three-headed monster, my good man.
You don't see that often.
No, not very often. Sit tight, though.
Okay.
However, we had Harbor at 160, Hargrove, maybe, and then we had Pearson at 182 pounds. So
is that 5 champs total?
That's 5 total. That's probably why they won, but they only won by 7 points. DeSales coming off, or I'm sorry, Grove City coming off the championship. DeSales coming in second. Did they have multiple champs? I bet you would love to tell me.
They did. Yeah, Grove City had multiple champs as well, and they had 3 in a row as well.
Unbelievable!
They had champs at 38 with Swavely. Tevins?
Yes.
I think that might be Stevens. I think that might be a misprint. I think
it could be.
I think it's Blake Stevens.
Okay.
Who actually wrestled extremely well that day. Blake Stevens and then Barker, state qualifier at 152. And not to be left out, Bean at 106 was also a champion for them as well. So good showing. So $1 million question.
Did the homeschool have a champion? And I'm going to say yes.
With an asterisk.
170-pound champ, Holly from Whitehall Yearling.
So, congratulations. Great day wrestling.
Before we leave that, I want to mention a team that worked hard all summer long, and they were quick to put it on Twitter and tag us in just about every post they made. It was Bishop Hartley. They walked away with 3 champs, man. Petrella at 113, and then they had Rathburn at 220 and his partner Jackson at 285. Guys really do a great job. They work hard. They might not be set up for dual meet success, but I'll tell you what, these guys are really working hard and doing well. So we love Hartley.
No, Jackson actually had a good match at heavyweight against Woolard from
Grove City. Yes.
He was undefeated. And then, you know what, it was that match where that new stalling came into play? Like by the out of bounds?
Yes.
I think there was maybe 4 total stalling points with who went out first grade and everything. So it started to rear its ugly head, but they wrestled 10 times. They probably both win 5 times.
Public service announcement from ITC: stay in the center and wrestle. Just doing our part. Just doing our part.
Or just have the refs do like we do international and just have the refs award points as opposed to getting involved. You just sit there. Oh, okay.
They call passivity.
Oh, okay.
But anywho, Sean, let's talk about Big Walnut.
We're going to Big Walnut now?
Yes, sir. We saw our boy Ashton up there bopping away, baby.
Right.
Bopper extraordinaire. We're going to have to bop off soon, I'm sure, between him and the Brexville.
Yeah, I love this tournament. Me and Mark met up there. I got there a little bit earlier, but Coach Renner is doing a great job. This year he brings in Hilliard Darby, which I think is
great addition.
A great addition. I think there might have been another school there as well. But, it was a top level. Granville always has solid kids.
Yes.
Dublin Kaufman has a great team as well.
Sheridan, Northmore. These are all tough teams.
Like Paint Valley, we're grabbing from all over teams me and Mark don't get to see all the time. But it was a great tournament. So tell me a little bit about that.
Not a problem. We mentioned last week that there are a couple teams that are high on our radar. However, Olentangy Liberty was up at Ironman. So Dublin Kaufman was one of those teams that we mentioned. Mm-hmm. They were very good. They had 288 points. They were able to best Sheridan, who tough D2 team.
Real tough.
Yes, with 201 points. Hilliard Darby comes in third with 166, so you're starting to see that separation. But Northmore and Westland...
Solid D3 program.
Most certainly. Northmore and Westland battled it out for fourth. Northmore edges them by 1 point, 146 to 145. But, hey, all great wrestling along the day. Now, Dublin Kaufman does gets 288 points on the strength of 4 champs. They had Bowman at 120,
Yep.
and then they had AU, freshman.
Right.
Keep an eye on him, 132 pounds. Then they had Shoemate at 182 pounds, another strong freshman. And then they had...
I don't think Strong's big enough for it there.
Okay. And then they had, of course, Lennox Wallach at 195. Good wrestlers, man. All 4 of those guys are stuff.
Right,
and then they had, second and thirds all across the way.
No, again, this is a good stepping stone. I think last week was that quad they did up in North Canton Hoover was a little tough.
Yeah.
And now we're taking another step. And then this week, it's go time for everyone up there. So, another mention, I keep talking about 220 this year at Central Ohio. Like, I really think this is probably the best 220 Darby's had in the last 10 years. When I say it, people kind of chuckle. They kind of Sean Penn me.
Yeah.
Like, this 220, they're terrible. But no, actually, these guys are good. So, if you're up there, a lot of the... Amy will tell you that the 220 that day, the best 220 that day, was probably wrestling heavyweight. But let's give a shout out to Nick Gerose, man. He had, 3 pins, 4 pins?
He had 4 pins.
4 pins?
4 pins and a 5-1 decision.
Right, and one of the pins was in the final. So
it was 3 pins, you're right.
He had a fabulous day and was the lone champ for the Warhawks. So we want to give him a shout out and a guy to keep an eye on here as he moves down to 220 later in the season. So
he moves.
Good job, Nick.
Moves left to right very well, and so that's good. Sean, that's it for this past week, man. I'm done looking back. I'm done looking back.
My throat's done.
Yeah, I'm going to look ahead. Well, if we didn't go to wrestling Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
I know.
Jeez.
Somebody asked me why my throat is so bad. I was like, anytime I go to a tournament and my throat's bad, I was yelling at refs all day.
All day long.
All day long. That's what it is. So if we had better officiating, I probably wouldn't be this bad.
Hang in there, buddy. You're going to make it.
I'm trying.
When you become an official, you get to do that. Sean, we're talking upcoming events. We have... teams leaving the area.
Before that, let's talk about the 2x4.
2x4, yeah. I was going to, but then I said, but whatever. But all right, here we go. 2x4, go.
No, we got some 2x4s going around the area up in the northern part where I live at. We're going to have a 2x4 up at Westerville Central.
Yes.
We're going to have Westerville Central, Westland, Licking Heights, and Springfield.
Out in the Dayton area, yes.
I think there's a couple of duels going on as well. And then when we get to Friday and Saturday, it's really go time in our district. Where do you want to start at? You want to start up north?
I want to start up north. We got teams representing the Central District as they leave the city. The Loopers, as my boy Zeb called, 270 Loopers. We know for a fact Dublin Kaufman, Dublin Scioto.
Yes.
Watkins Memorial and Olentangy are all going to North Canton Hoover, which is a great, fabulous, wonderful tournament. It is very difficult. It's a hard tournament.
It's a joy. It's probably one of my most favorite tournaments to go to. And Coach Huddle told me that Scioto was going to be there this year. And I was joking with him, and I was like, man, that's probably the best tournament in the galaxy that no one has ever heard of. It is really a joy. You're going to love it. Dublin Kaufman and Dublin Scioto, I know we've talked about in the past. People are like, man, I can't wait to see that duel between them. They're not having this duel this year.
What?
So that's going to be our
Stop. Seriously. You didn't tell me this. There's no Dublin.
It's like Dublin City tried to have with.
They're not doing that?
No, they're not doing that this year. So
I am disappointed.
But Lennox Wallach has been wrestling 195. Maybe Duran Pulliam's wrestling.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get that matchup overall and maybe get a better gauge of these teams. At this point, I think maybe you might see a shift down with Dublin Kaufman kids. I think they've all been wrestling up just to ease into the season. So that would be great to watch. And then coming closer to home, this Liberty tournament me and Mark have been talking about for the last 2 weeks is absolutely phenomenal. I think it's up to 39 schools. And I think 20 of them are Division I schools.
From the Central District or from all over?
General.
Oh, that's good.
We're bringing a McDowell from Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Which is a pretty solid program.
Erie area.
And then from, good job, man. And then from Indiana, they're bringing in Culver Academy. So I'm very excited to watch this tournament. I think this is go time for Liberty, isn't it? They only had 4 or 5 starters wrestle at the sales tournament.
Yep.
And then only had 8 people go up to Ironman. So I got to think at their home tournament, this is when
they're
going to put it out there and we're going to get a better gauge. We are not going to do a top 10 this week. Because, I think this is it. I think once we see the Dublin Kaufman people shifted down, I think once I get a chance to look at the Liberty people up at the Patriot Invitational, I think when I looked at it today,
Dublin Scioto.
We have seen probably 23 schools of the 46 that are going to be in our district. I started counting them up.
Yeah.
So then once we go to North Canton and see those schools, Dublin Scioto, Olentangy, and then come back to Liberty where you have both Pinkerton North schools, Westerville North, Lancaster. There's just a lot of schools that locally we have not had a chance to, and I think we'll have a better caption. So next week's show will be a very big show. We'll probably have 2 shows. We're not going to do a ranking for every weight this year. We're going to spotlight it. So next week we'll have a big maybe 30, 35-minute green screen regular recap show, and then probably a 30-minute show talking about like let's look at 182, let's look at 106, let's look at 132, and kind of spotlight. For those of you who have never watched the show, it will be nothing new, and you probably won't see anything. But people who have watched the show and just complained about it, you'll probably have another thing to complain about.
Yeah, I mean that's why we're here. We're here to serve the people, and good or bad, you know, that's what we're here for. So, Sean, is that it?
I think that's it.
Yes, and now you are inside the circle.